This is a short video on Python data structure heapq, which actually turns your Python list into a data structure called min-heap. And if we execute this and call the heapq heapify method on heap list, we can see that it's kind of sorted your original list by the first element first and then the second one. That's why the 2b goes on the top, and your heap list is still a list. It's just being sorted, and this guarantees that if we use heapq heappop method, we would pop out the 2b smallest element. And one mistake people usually make is that they didn't realize that this method doesn't return anything. So they assume that it's gonna returns a heap or something like that. And in fact, this method does not return anything. It just operates on top of your list. So map-heap is really none. You shouldn't write like that. Okay, let's start over. And if you try to push the element 4b into your heap list, then you would realize this 4b goes on to the end, but not the middle part. That's a little bit counterintuitive, but that leads to the data structure itself. This is like on the top 3a, and then you know, the 9c and 4b on the branch, and pushing to a new element resorted takes O log n, and pop out the first one and resorted takes pop it out takes like O1, but resorted takes like you know, still O1 I believe, but resorted takes like O log n. And even if the 4b is not in the middle, if we keep popping, it always kind of gives you the smallest element. That's why it called the min-heap. So this also may be an indication that it only resort when you try to like pop, but when you try to push it, it might haven't, you know, performed the resorting yet. To implement like a max-heap, you just use the trick to add a negative sign here, compared with the original one. You know, heapify the heap list, you can see the -9 now goes on the top, and as expected, the first element being popped out will be -9, and then if you keep popping, it pops out like the -3 one. So this is like how you usually implement max-heap by utilizing the heapq in Python. And heapq is a data structure that usually used in you know, scheduler coordination type of task. That's it.